Failure Railways would like to apologise for the lack of trains currently departing Dukinfield because I've dug all the track up. Hello folks, I'm Colonel Failure, this is Train Fever. What have we been focusing on lately? Well, you should probably know by now, but just in case you don't, quick recap time. This is the Dukinfield 8 track, which is causing consternation and mirth among many people who choose to comment on these videos. I welcome these comments. Keeps me alive. Yes, basically we're running both goods and passengers through this area, and it's already causing some traffic problems. It's going to cause more because it's laid out in a wacky fashion, but I'm going to make it work. So, you know, we're running lumber out here, as you know. We haven't yet started running iron or coal out here, but we will do. Passengers running along this way out towards Ilford. There we go. Yes, see, I do know what I'm talking about. Haven't completed the passenger line yet that's going to Newton, but, you know, I have at least plumbed it in. I don't think I've got the trains running yet, though. I'm pretty sure I haven't got the trains running yet. But what we're looking at today is the other side. Now, the other side, historically, obviously, the lumber trains go out here to this tiny little piece of forestry. I guess it's this tree. This tree they managed to... Here we go. Let's give it a star profile moment here. This tree right here manages to source all the lumber we need to keep the lumber mill rolling, and it does so pretty well. We then run a passenger service, which, you know, we've only double-tracked a tiny bit of, out to Great Yarmouth. That's an area for expansion very soon. And then we've got a terrible bit of track here that runs out to Earthlingborough. Now, you know, for all of the criticism I've just levelled at this stuff, it has been working. But, of course, now that we've got multiple tracks running the other side... The traffic has built up somewhat, and it's only going to get worse. So we've got these three tracks coming out, and I've deleted everything coming off them. Largely because, you know, anytime you can squeak something, ignore the hole in the road. Anytime you can squeak something under a bridge is positive. So, you know, it's squeaked under a bridge, and we're going to work from there. So what I need to do right now is I need to replace the track running pretty much dead ahead, that then has a peel off to the lumber yard, and then sort out the track over here. But I need to do it in such a way that there's actually room for different trains to manoeuvre, and that's where we've been coming unstuck. Right? Okay, everybody on board? Jolly good. Let's crack on. I'm going to ease the game forward just a touch. Hopefully not so much that it perplexes every service I'm running. That'll probably do, just to get this chap out of the way so that we can bulldoze a little more. Vehicle in the way. Well, we'll lay a bit of track in and get it out. There we go. Just you can put some track there. Look, it's not the train's going the other way. What about if I were to you know, just bang a signal down willy-nilly? No. Very unhelpful. Yeah, so I've already done a little... I'll worry about that in a minute. I've done a little bit of experimentation along these lines here about whether I could double-track this bridge. The answer is no. But I want to get a double-track bridge across here. It's kind of... Well, it's fundamental to keeping it orderly. I mean, we're running these two lines at the moment with a split in. And if you remember how the track was before... what we had, I'm going to... Shall I draw some pictures here? Let's find a bit of cheap road. We'll use a bit of cheap road to illustrate. Right, so imagine that's the track, right? We had this line, this side here, merge onto that. Imagine it's track, right? This might be a terrible idea. Then this one came here, did a flyover, and merged on the other side. It was very slow, it was pretty inefficient, and it's been on my to-do list to kind of sort this out for a while. And I'm not convinced I've got a plan that is a winner. But what else is new? When am I ever convinced I have a plan that is a winner? I tend to have plans that are just, you know, pie in the sky, and we muddle through and see what happens. Let's get this truck out of the way. Go on, get out of the way. I'm going to do unspeakable things to that bit of road. well, I'm going to bulldoze it, I imagine. Can we do anything here yet? There we are. Right. In fact, let's not muck about. Let's get rid of all of this and then and go from scratch and see if we can't come up with something that is more practical. Right, the chances of it being more practical are slim. What? I find it hard to believe that there's a vehicle in the way there. Go on. Now? No? How strange. Okay, right. Well, I'll worry about that in a minute. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to get this bridge in, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. I think the secret is going to be to kind of go straight, so, you know, run in a perpendicular fashion to the river. The more you go on an angle, thusly, the more likely it is you're going to get the your favourite message and mine, the terrain alignment collision. There we go. So if we did something like that, and actually starting with this is possibly helpful. I say possibly because, you know, I do have a history of being wrong about such things. Yeah, so starting with this bit means that you know, there's a high chance we can make it work. I hope. Right, let's run that out. So, yeah. Now, you may ask yourself, and you're perfectly entitled to do so, why do we only have a single track running from here all the way up to our Earthling Borough destination? And it was because this area was built on the cheap. It was one of the first bits of track I put together. So actually, let's get that completely out of the way, and let's bring it up to the modern age now that I've got some money. Right, are you... There we go. For some reason that bit decided to delete the tunnel as well, but, you know, I'm okay with that because I'm planning to delete the tunnel. So now let's run this in a relatively straight, you know, straight lines of the future. What do we feel about that? Can we? Yeah, we can angle round, and, you know, this will help maintain top speed. Didn't seem to interfere with the road tunnel we've got going there. So actually, this bit of track now is you know, marvelously fast for the passenger services that we're going to be throwing up it. Yeah, all right, nice. Let's just pretend this never happened. We'll all know, but I'm sure, you know, between us we can keep that quiet. All right, okay, right. What next? So obviously I need to connect up that end, which will lead to a little more unpausing and repausing while that train heads for the station. But the angle there looks good for being able to maintain a high track speed. And, you know, it might also lead to a, you know, secondary service out to Bognor, but to be honest, I'll probably go through Earthling Borough to get it there. All right, next trick. Let's kill the road here. Remember which bits of road we need to connect back up again. All right, and then... So, I think the fundamental to this plan is going to be upgrading this from 3 tracks. Well, it was, I mean, it's 2 tracks before, but upgrading it to be 5 track. And then doing something clever with points. And something that's going to make you all cry with signals, because, you know, you all hate what I do with signals, but my concern is purely built around getting it to work. And you know what? As long as it works, I don't mind if it... In fact, we talked about this last time. It's, you know, I'm quite happy to block a set of points if doing so doesn't disrupt the flow of traffic. And I know that for, you know, you chaps who like the authenticity or the you know, some real world style civil engineering, I realise that you know, that's a big no-no on that front, because that is not how anybody with half a shred of intelligence puts together a rail service. because you never know when you're going to need those points clear. But I'm not building a simulation of the real world here. I'm just building something that works. Okay, right, so you're going to come round and merge onto something that I possibly haven't built yet. So that's that's a relatively low-hanging piece of fruit, and that's cutting the speed to 103, which is a fair chunk slower than I'd like. And obviously, if I'm trying to merge it onto track over this side, it's going to be slower still. Maybe 5 track isn't necessary. I'd like to use 5, just so that I've got one I can dedicate to goods. 99. I think it's going to have to be done. If I can't go to diagonal, what's the other option? The other option is to come out way up here so that we can merge on while maintaining track speed. And while I'm never opposed to unnecessary digging up of track I've just laid and relaying it. What we're talking about here is going kind of across. So look, we'd come out of here, we'd cut down that way somewhat in order to hit this straight and then take our time in a nice elegant curve. But it's the distance between the river and the track that is causing the problem. So I'd have to go over the top of the track and then curve round very gently in order to maintain track speed in order to get back here. And by the time you've done that, the amount of time you've saved, or the amount of speed you've maintained, that's probably a better way of describing it, is, you've eaten in the amount of extra time you've added to the journey. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Alright, you haven't thought this through, have you? What else is new? Okay, so we now want to bring these up here, and I think we're going to probably delete a bit of this. I like it conceptually. Of course you want me to delete loads of it. When have you not wanted me to delete loads of it? Okay, right, let's rock this up here. Hold everything. Right, we're going to be running coal down here. So that means that this track is actually going to require 2 separate, let's call it, in order to avoid overuse of the word track, let's say lanes. It's going to need 2 lanes of track here. So let's get that plumbed in at the same time. And obviously it doesn't have to sit flush with the station, but doing so, I like it on an aesthetic basis. Alright, let's rock you up there, and let's do it in such a way that we don't clip with the station, although given that we're ascending, I can see how that might be a problem. There we go. Right, we can finish that off later. And we don't need points between these 2 bits of track unless... Is there an advantage in doing so? Well, actually, there is an advantage in doing so, I guess. And in fact, 3 lanes of track might be handy there. Or am I now just being excessive? Actually, I think an additional lane here, so that we've got both coming and going as far as coal is concerned. I don't know if I'm going to run 1 train or 2 that is supplying coal, but let's run that. Let's do some more bulldozing, because no one ever went bankrupt doing a lot of bulldozing. And let's do that as well. Right. Oh, this is turning into a significantly larger piece of engineering than I had anticipated originally. Right, where are we? Right, you come down here, and then we're going to make this a tighter curve than it was before. Actually, this feels like it's got disaster written all over it. Okay, now usually I have a pretty positive reputation for explaining exactly what's going on in my head, and at the moment I don't, and there's a good reason for that, and it's that it's kind of hard to explain. Let me draw a little bit more, but bear with me for a moment. and I'll try and talk you through what I'm thinking here. Let's go like that, although that change in elevation isn't helpful. We'll see if that's a problem in a moment. Let's just run these 2 tracks down here. Yeah, you see, look, you've made an arse of that. Right, okay, look, while I try and get this right, take the time to formulate an opinion on whether you would rather watch me get this wrong a few times, so that you can see the process that goes into making this omelette, or whether you would rather I did some of this complicated stuff off screen, so you didn't have to sit through me trying to relay it half a dozen times. I don't mind either way. Where are we? No, switch construction fails. I guess it's because they're not snapped. All right, let's get some snappage on there. Look, though. And, you know, fortunately this time I'm not going to start complaining about this was supposed to be easy, because actually this was supposed to be difficult. And as such, it is not disappointing. Okay, all right. Now, here's why it's difficult. Okay, so I'm going to hook this up here. So this is pure goods, this section. We've got pure passenger coming in there. We've got pure passenger coming in here. The reason it's complicated is because my goods passing area, where trains can move through unimpinged, is this, let's say, platform 5, right? Now, that's, you know, in theory, that's not a big deal, except it means that I've got to cross all 4, or however many tracks I end up with here, however many lanes, I've got to cross all of them. And that's where you're going to get traffic snarl-ups happening. I don't think there's a way to avoid it. I think the only way to make it work is going to be through making signalling our friend, and not, in fact, you know, something that scowls at us in a askance fashion. No, if you just put that back in exactly the place that you took it away from, yeah, you have. Would you please concentrate? Right, look, lay this in, right, and then it's in, right. This is that's a fixed destination kind of a route there. That has to happen. Right, and then we'll have a peel off here. Yeah, that doesn't need to go anywhere else at all. So we'll have that peel over here to that one, and then we'll grab the other side. Okay, so these 2 lines are both going to have trains going in both directions. Yeah. That's got horror written all over it. And I'm not leaving myself an awful lot of space to maneuver with. Alright. Ooh. Right. Okay, so what next? Well, now I think we have to, you know, figure on doing something like that. No. So this merger section here is going to need plenty of space to actually get on the track here. Let's do that. So we are bleeding off more speed than I'd like, but given the angle, I don't think there's any real way of avoiding it. I mean, other than using some kind of huge out-of-the-way detour to make it happen. I don't know. Right, let's do that, and then let's connect those up. All right, let's pause for a moment here, folks. Right, okay, so the 2 trains that are going to run up and down this section, they're going to need to come in along these 2 central lines, right? When I say central lines, you kind of get what I'm driving at. I think I'm going to get rid of these points and see if I can put them closer to the station. That way, we should have a slightly less traffic-inducing. It doesn't look right, but I'm pretty sure it is right. Can I have a diamond crossing there? Okay. Right, okay, that means that they're changing lanes very close to the station, which is a good thing. Equally, we could go onto that line there, but I'm using this platforms 1 and 2 as we look at them. I'm using those to grab accordingly. Okay, right. Alright, so if I continue that down there, I'm just gonna do that for the moment. So, trains like to drive on the right, we all know this. This is a universal truism. It's going to come down here, and then I'm going to cross it over one line onto the next one. So we want that crossing to be as simplistic as possible. And as much as I could force it to drive on the opposite side to the one it likes, let's not do that. Right, on there, and then from here onto the next one. Right, and we can make that nice and long so that they've got lots of speed. In fact, I should have done that with the previous one. So let's do that with the previous one then. Well, lots of speed, lots of speed. Okay, yeah, 180 will be okay. Obviously, now we've got a collision of some sort going on here. Delete back a little, and let's try that again. Okay, so, it's inevitable we're going to cause, someone to wait somewhere. 140, I'll take 140. But if we can keep track speed up, then the delay should be shorter. Of course, it depends who's having to do the waiting. Okay, right. So this is also going to be it's going to end up being a good section, because we're going to have to take this line all the way across these 5. Now, actually, maddening speed is not something we need quite so much. So I could take this out here, merge it on earlier, tricky. Okay, well, look, hold on. Let's concentrate on one section at a time. So that has now got these trains coming in according to the side of the track that they want, and they'll land on platform 4. They'll come in, and they'll come back out on track 3, heading down this way, and then they need to get all the way back over onto that one. So we do something in a reverse kind of a fashion, and this is going to cause a bit of trouble because it's going to block a lane. What's your? Oh, you're joking me. Little gap here. How much am I going to have to delete in order to fix it? A large amount. How jolly helpful. No, snap to the track. It's vital that you do so. If you do not snap to this track, I'm not going to get this working. Let's do some more over here, and hopefully that will be... Oh, for crying out loud, come on. Will you please be helpful? If we do... Yeah, there we go. That might have it. That looks like it's gapless. Right, so we now have to... We've got to make sure that we can get onto this second track, and I think we might have to bleed some speed off there. Anywhere at all? No. Points are there, so that's causing problems. Alright, okay, then what? How are you going to do it then? Well, you could do it like this, I suppose. And that blocks, yeah, that's far less of a blocker. I mean, it does kill a lot of speed. I mean, it also makes some of that track kind of superfluous, but I'm not too bothered about that. Right, now over to there, and then you're on the right side of the track. Okay. So I had wanted to come out on this side, but that does not seem to be possible, or it doesn't seem to be easy. Yeah, easy, I think is the right word there. Right, so now I still need to get this track here merged over onto the next one somewhere. Yeah, look at all this terrain alignment collision goodness. There we go. There. Yes, yes, yes. That'll do it. Okay, so we're going to block... Which line are we going to block here? We're going to block the incoming line. Potentially... Actually, no, it shouldn't be blocking it too much. But we'll stick a set of signals there to stop that being a problem. And we'll stick some here as a release signal. Yes. We'll stick a set here to stop you carving up the good trains folk. Of course, none of this has done anything to resolve what the goods trains are going to do, and it's all hypothetical at the moment, given that the game is paused and nothing is running. We are applying a suitable amount of guesswork to whether this is actually going to, you know, work at all. One there and one there as a release signal, and that's got everything on the central section here, which means that we can peel off back homeward and we can peel off down here. Alright, and then we just have to... Is that enough? No, more signalling is going to be needed in the middle. Just purely so that, let's say, for example, I'm coming up here from wherever the heck it is down here. So from Yarmouth, if I'm coming up here, I have to wait at this signal here, right? Because all manner of nonsense is going on over there. And I don't want to have to wait until whichever train it is clears all the way up there. So what I'm going to do is I'll put another one. If I put one here, then I potentially block an exiting train. That's exiting rather than exciting. Because then you have to think about, you know, how many coaches are you pulling. Let's put it there and see what we think about that. And then on the way back out, we put one here. Although I might have to rethink that, given the good stuff coming in. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there for now. You know, that's more than enough. Apologies that you haven't actually seen any vehicles in motion in this particular episode, but you know, this is the fascinating, complicated stuff that is the reason that we play all of this nonsense, right? Certainly the reason I play it. If I can make this work, you know, I will be, you know, running a lap of virtual victory around the virtual track. Thanks very much for watching. I've been Colonel Failure. Please, you know, leave some comments. Where have I already gone wrong? I can't, you know, guarantee that I'm going to address the feedback you have on that front. And where am I about to go wrong in the future? Again, I'll probably do it anyway. Like this video and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.
This